Welcome back to the Mental Manny podcast. I am your host Rossi. Today's episode we will be talking about anxiety disorder, or as some people know it as GAD, which is a generalized anxiety disorder. So what is anxiety and how do we deal with it? Well, we all know the simple anxiety. It's like a worry, nervous worry, or you're feeling a bit different, If you have any other disorders, you'll know that it comes with a lot of other disorders, specifically psychiatric disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and phobias. But each of them are different. They all feel distress, dysfunction specifically related to anxiety and fear. But anxiety, people often have physical symptoms, shortness of breath, dizziness, sweating, rapid heartbeat, and shaking tremors, It can really change a person's behaviour, including making them leave certain situations. These disorders are diagnosed using specific established criteria, which is the DSM. Drugs, psychotherapy, both can substantially help most people's anxiety disorders. Let's talk a little bit about the causes of anxiety, because not many people, there's not much research out there to say specifically what causes anxiety, but it could be something to do with the genetics in your family. If your family have a long running history of anxiety disorders, it's a big player. Environment, experiencing trauma in your life or a really stressful situations, that can be a big play in the cause of anxiety. One of them being just your psychological balance. So the way you were created, the way your mind is built. Another one could be physical conditions, physical ailments that you're dealing with. But we all love to dwell on the horrible stuff to do with anxiety. With any disorder really, we all like to dwell on it, but I'm here to give answers. So we're going to talk about the treatment and talk about the treatment a bit more in depth. So the treatment for anxiety, generalized anxiety and panic usually lie under psychotherapy, drug therapy, or as they call it, CBT, DBT. So CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, and this is going to rewire the way you think. It's going to change the way you see the situations. It's going to challenge you. And before all of this, you need to get an accurate diagnosis of what is going on with you, whether it is generalized anxiety disorder, panic attacks and a panic disorder, or you've just got a phobia or something, because you really want to be finding the right treatment. That is the important part. You're going to be put on some sort of medication. They're going to try and put you on some sort of medication, and they're going to try and push you into therapy. So they're going to aim to treat you, the actual symptoms, but alongside that they're going to give you some sort of drug, or as I like to call it, medicine, because it's pretty difficult knowing straight away at the start what it is, so it allows you to deal with the symptoms while you find out what it is. Once you're in the right therapy, you'll do assessments and they will come to a conclusion of the best routine, the best routine checks that they can do for you at that point, and they will also put you forward for the best type of therapy that they think is right for you. And once you start attending it, you will realize that you will have more anxiety coming out of the session than you did going into it, and that is completely normal because it's challenging you, it's challenging thoughts, and it's a way of learning how to cope with it. So in the midst of doing all of that, you are going to feel some level of anxiety, but I would not worry. I know that's quite contradictory to say when we're talking about anxiety, but I would not stress too much about if it doesn't like clear up instantly, because it can be a long haul. You can, like, I had a panic disorder for 6 months, and it was horrible. It was definitely one of the darker points of my life. It stops you from going outside, your heart's racing, you're thinking, oh god, am I having a heart attack constantly? You think you're about to have a stroke, you're sweating, and all of these things like build up inside you. Like, I got rid of the panic disorder, I've not had a panic attack in a long time, but the anxiety remains, and your mind's going all over the place, your mind's still looking for them exits, you know. But I'm telling you here and now that it will be okay. If you put your foot down and say, look, I don't want to live like this anymore, I want to live a better life, I want to live a more routine based life, and these routines will really, really help you. What you can do is make the change today. You can go to the doctors, get an assessment, go through therapy, take the right meds, and you will be on a much better road. And soon you'll be coming off those meds, you'll be coming out of therapy, and you will put all of this in your past. And I mean that. I honestly do mean that, because there is always hope. It doesn't matter who you are, how much of the disorder you have. You may have it for life, but it's to do with dealing with it and learning how to cope with it. And it's important to know that there is an end to it, you know. There's not an end to the disorder, but there's an end to the pain that it caused you. So there is moments where you're gonna think, oh, it really doesn't end. And I'm here to tell you as living proof, it does. It gets better. So in them circumstances, I seriously wouldn't worry. I just wanted to go over it briefly, and I know it sounds quite medical and stuff like that, but honestly, I will be doing longer podcasts soon where I go through my own personal stories. I will be reciting the things that help me personally. I am no doctor, I am no therapist. This is all to do with my personal experiences, the medical knowledge that I have, the knowledge I have through therapies, and the healthcare professionals I've spoke to. So I am no doctor, but I am also here to listen to people. I'm also here to try and help people and let you know that you aren't alone. You are not alone. That there is always people out there. There is people out there who will support you, and there's people out there who want the best for you. But like I say, I'm gonna discuss the stories, stuff like that, in a later podcast. Please do stick around. This podcast is soon gonna take off and get so much better. I've got a few other people who want to hop on the podcast and speak about their own personal experiences, and I think it'll be really, really interesting, and it'll be a great listen. So thank you so much for listening. This is a little 10-minute soundbite of anxiety and how do we deal with it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I cleared some of the waters surrounding anxiety. I have been your host of the Mental Manny podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.